So, good morning. Thank you very much, first of all, for the great honor to be here in this session. Congratulations to the Academy of Science and Technology for choosing this very important topic nowadays. And so I would like to reinforce my acknowledgements regarding the authorities of the Academy and all the members of the Academy and all the other colleagues that are here and students that are here present. So I'm going, my talk will be mostly addressed for those that are not experts on geoheritage and geoparks, and I believe that there are a lot of people here in this room that are not expert. So my main focus is to say some words about geoparks and geological heritage and how they can promote sustainable development. So I will start with trying to explain a little bit more what are geoparks. And usually I start in the other way. So I will start with saying what are not, geoparks are not geological parks. It seems like a game of words, but a geological park is a territory, is a park with the main aim to protect a geological site, and it is not the same for geoparks. So the main aim of a geopark is not the protection of geological heritage. Geoparks are not the Disneyland for geologists. So geoparks are not for geologists. And I apologize if I caused some regret in some of the colleagues, but the geopark is not for us. Geopark is for the community. So the main aim that of the geopark is the not geopark. The protection of a geopark is not a new category of geoparks are not so the Disneyland like for geologists. So geoparks are not for geologists. It's not a category of protected area. I apologize if it's not a statutory tool to protect geological heritage, as I said before. So being a geopark does not give a legal tool to the geosite or the geoheritage that lives inside the geopark. It's not a strategy with short-term results. A new category. Geoparks are not the Disneyland for geologists. Geoparks are not for geologists. It's not a category of the geopark area. They will not get it's not a statutory tool to protect geological heritage. It's not a mechanism to get money from UNESCO. And sometimes we hear this between the politicians, the local politicians, that they will like to have support from UNESCO. UNESCO, in general, does not give money. And it is not a permanent UNESCO label. So a geopark territory, they will not get statutory tool 4 years to proceed with a re-evaluation. So it's not a permanent label as in other programs of UNESCO. So what are geoparks in fact? Geoparks are territories with geological heritage of international relevance, and it is recognized by UNESCO. A geopark is a sustainable territorial planning. This is the most important. Of course, aiming to conserve and manage geoheritage, but, and very important, together with the other natural and cultural assets of the territory, and for what? To promote better living conditions for local communities. So this is what a geopark is since the end of the 90s when this concept was developed. So they are strategies founded in 3 main pillars: geoconservation, so the conservation of the geological heritage, education, and geotourism, and are based on action plans where networking is an essential tool, networking at the local, national, and international levels. And finally, geoparks are built on links between stakeholders that are not used to work together. For instance, in a geopark, we must have a geologist working with the owner of the hotel working with the archaeologist working with the biologist, and so on and so on. So it's a network of stakeholders. So I said that UNESCO is recognized geoparks, and many times we read and listen a big confusion about the role of UNESCO. And so that's why I will use some time explaining that UNESCO has several programs, international programs, concerning heritage. So the first one is the Man and Biosphere program, created in 1971 in order to distinguish areas important for biodiversity and sustainable development. And presently there are 4 areas that are biosphere reserves in Morocco, that are here in the screen. Then we have the Convention concerning the protection of the World Cultural and Natural Heritage, which is usually known as World Heritage. And this convention, created in 1972, it allows to recognize cultural assets and natural assets. As Professor Ramezora already told before, it is possible to recognize geoheritage under this convention of the World Heritage Convention, and there are several properties. It's the correct name in the World Heritage language. There are several properties included in the World Heritage in Morocco, all of them due to cultural reasons, none due to natural reasons. And we have another convention, and sometimes this is one of the sources of the confusion, another convention concerning the safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage. And this convention promotes 2 lists, the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of the humanity, and another list, which is the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. And again, Morocco has several properties several of assets under this Convention of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. Finally, it's the Geoparks program. So in 2015, UNESCO decided to reform a previous program in this new one, International Geoscience and Geoparks program. And presently in Morocco, as many colleagues said before, there is just one geopark, UNESCO Global Geopark in Morocco. So this UNESCO Global Geoparks started more or less, the first network was established in Europe in 2000, and nowadays there is a global geopark network with almost 150 geoparks in more than 40 countries around the world, and these are the countries that are present in this network. So UNESCO, as I said before, has 4 main programs concerning heritage. Biodiversity, so biological heritage, geological heritage, and cultural heritage. But concerning heritage, and heritage here is, of course, a keyword, as other colleagues already said before. Heritage is a keyword, and we need to clearly distinguish what kind of heritage we are talking about. So the type of heritage is related with the nature of the element. Let me give you some examples. If we are talking about a special music, of course we are talking about intangible cultural heritage. If we are talking about a mosque, we are talking about cultural heritage. If we are talking about a plant, it's biological heritage. If we are talking about a rock painting, we are talking about archaeological heritage, so part of the cultural heritage. And finally, if we are talking about a mineral, a rock, a fossil, a landform, so something related directly with geodiversity, so that's what we are calling about geological heritage. So when we are talking about geological heritage, or geoheritage in short, we are talking about geological elements. Of course, that these geological elements may have different types of values, may have, for instance, cultural value, of course, but we are talking about geological elements. Right, so when we talk about heritage, of course, the first words that came to our mind is talking about protection, preservation, and conservation. We want to conserve the heritage. Independently on the type of heritage, we want to conserve this heritage. And in order to conserve the heritage, we must be well aware about the value. Which are the value that gives this heritage importance? And of course, we need to have selection of the elements that have this value. So why we need to protect geological heritage? This is a very strange notion for most of the people in our societies in all countries. Why do we need to spend money, public money, to protect a rock? It's a very, very bizarre thing for those that are not geologists. Why to spend public money? We need the public money to be spent much better than to protect a rock. So why do we need to protect rocks? Well, we need to protect rocks because there are different types of values that we can learn with these rocks. For instance, the scientific value. The scientific research that we do in certain areas in our planet are essential to learn, for us, to allow us to learn about our home. This planet is the only place in the universe where we can live in the short term. So we must know very well how this home works. And the information that we get from the research, the scientific research in certain areas in our planet are crucial to know much better how we can work how we can live in a sustainable way in this planet, and much of this knowledge came from geology research. And we have here just very briefly two examples that are geosites of international scientific relevance. One is very, very near where we are today. They are two stratotypes. So for those that are not directly connected with geoscience, these stratotypes are world references for the geological timescale. So this is one here near Rabat, and this is another one in northeast Morocco, also already explained here before. So geoheritage is not only important for scientific reasons, but also for educational reasons. We need to educate much more our societies regarding geodiversity and geology in general. And this is a big gap in our educational systems. In many countries, students don't learn about the Earth in terms of geology. And this gives a very high illiteracy to our society concerning geodiversity, and this is very bad because now and during the last couple of years, everyone is worried about climate change and about the living conditions in our planet, but the knowledge given by geology is essential to understand this. So we need to educate the society, all the people regarding this, and some sites are excellent for this. And finally, 1 minute? Okay, and finally in 1 minute, to try to finish this, we have sites that are important for tourism, and many colleagues have already said this, and Morocco has already defined in this Vision 2020 that the natural heritage is something very important for the country. It's written several times about the importance of natural sites and cultural heritage. So it is already in the big national strategies. And when we visit the website of the tourism of Morocco, there are already several things related with geodiversity. The Valley of the Dinosaurs, of course the fossils, also the meteorites that we have not yet talked here. All of these are images from the Tourism of Morocco website. They are advertising sites along Morocco that are excellent examples of geoheritage. But of course, they are not advertised as geosites or geoheritage. People don't know that some of these sites are geoheritage, but they are in fact. They are being advertised due to the aesthetic value of these sites. And so if they have aesthetic value, they are tourism attractions, and they can attract tourism, of course. So this is also a very important question concerning the use of these sites for tourism. So, but of course, there are requisites that we must be aware before. We must have a geoheritage inventory. It is not possible to do anything serious in any country, not only in Morocco, but in any country. It's not possible to do a serious geoconservation strategy without a good inventory. We need to know what is geoheritage and what is not geoheritage. The colleague that talked before me, Gutierrez, he talked about that not all fossils are geoheritage. So we must have a very good inventory in order to advance with these strategies. We need to have proper legislation. Without legislation, we can do nothing. We need to have a public administration engaged in these principles. And of course, we must have a geoconservation strategy related with other public strategies concerning, for instance, nature conservation, environmental impact assessments, education, tourism, and social policies also. So this theme of geoheritage and geoconservation is a very good theme to connect with other public and national policies. And of course, we have the problem, as some colleagues have already said, problem concerning the conservation and management of this heritage, not only just for fossils, but also for meteorites. And a statistic that I read in one of the newspapers alerts us for this big problem of how can we manage this. Yeah, I'm going to finish right now. How can we manage this heritage, taking into consideration that there are a lot of people living from this heritage. This is something that only Moroccan people and Moroccan authorities can deal with. You must sit together around the same table and discuss this very urgent issue. Don't expect UNESCO or any other foreign organization to solve your problem. You must solve this problem, but talking seriously and using the tools that you have. So, final remarks. Moroccan society needs to be aware of the importance of its geoheritage, which is non-renewable and it is finite. Of course, some fossils, Gutierrez said to us that probably they are not finite. They are not finite, but most of the geological heritage is finite and it is non-renewable. The geopark concept is still underrepresented in Morocco, and the top-class geoheritage, the rich cultural heritage, and the need for innovative actions to support the sustainable development of Morocco make geoparks an excellent opportunity that should be enthusiastically supported by the public administration. So thank you very much. Shukran.
Merci beaucoup, professeur Brilha. Sans transition, je donne la parole à notre confrère Philippe Taquet, qui va nous parler du